Another poor result at Villa this weekend. What can Ipswich Town do to keep the fans on side? So, welcome back, and yeah, I'm joined by Will tonight. We're going to have a bit of a chat with regards to all the goings on at the moment. Will, welcome to the channel again. Obviously, you've been on a few times. In terms of Aston Villa yesterday, poor result.
Yeah.
We can go over a few things that we've probably we've seen a few times this season.
Yeah.
But firstly, let's just talk about. Obviously 2-1 loss, but let's talk about how we go about reacting to going 1-0 down in any game, to be fair.
Yep.
And the impact that has on our squad, because we're not taking the lead in games away from home, but we're only reacting to the other side scoring a goal. So what do you make of that?
I mean, the problem we've got is, like in any game, home or away, as soon as we concede, we let our heads drop. You see it every game.
Yeah.
I mean, the prime example's got to be the Mill. Like, obviously we did it there, but the one that always is going to spring to my head with that is the Millwall game.
Yeah.
With 2 goals up, and to throw that away against a
and
team
to be
that
fair,
hadn't won away.
That's probably been the only time that we've been, that
dominant in a game.
Yeah, in a game, and we came out second half. We just threw it away.
We just threw it away. I mean, to go to Villa and then say we feel we should have got a point is something.
Yeah. Like
everyone was going to that game saying, "Oh, we'll lose. Like that'll be one of our worst defeats, like 3, possibly 4-0, whatever."
Yeah.
Because they're like, although they struggle to keep clean sheets, they got like Tammy Abraham really showed what he can do.
Quality players.
They've got some really quality players, like especially for the Championship. They got some players that would probably make it in kind of lower mid-tier Premier League teams.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then you've got players that I saw, like you've got players like Whelan. Obviously, Glenn Whelan played, a good, probably near enough a decade with Stoke in the Premier League. Unhinged, he played every game. You've got strikers like Tammy Abraham, and you've got experienced defenders. And in that sense, you can't go to Villa and expect to get a result. But in these times,
we should have had a result from that game.
Yeah,
like I think you look at the stats. Although we didn't have half as many shots, I think. Like you look at everything, we had more passes completed, our pass succession rate was better, we had higher possession, everything kind of the actual ability in the midfield and like the ability of the players, we showed ourselves that we can be competitive with the good teams in this league. We can play football with them. Like we can get results against teams like that.
Oh yeah, we can, and it's a point that I've picked up a few times. But we've not actually been dicked by anyone this season.
No,
and we've not been out of any game that we've played this season, which is very strange for a team that's rooted to the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
In terms of that, it kind of makes you feel like you're not in that position.
Yeah.
Because you're going to each of these games and you kind of expect that we could get result in some senses, but we're just not pulling the trigger.
I think that's I think that's kind of what makes it harder to take losing game in, game out, week in, week out, and then pick it up one win, say every 11 or something like that is basically what it's been. Like, because we go to games thinking, we played really well. This could be the kickstart to our season. We win this, like the Rotherham game.
Yeah.
We win this, kickstarts our season. Then we have like a couple of games, get like another win or a draw, and then we suddenly got 4 points from 2.
Yeah.
And then you might get a hard game, you lose that, but then it's all
it's in steady ways.
We haven't been able to get any momentum going, and as soon as we pick up a win, we then go somewhere or come to Portman Road and just look like we look like we lost again. We just don't. Yeah. We just can't build it. We don't build on anything. There's no.
We don't, because I don't think we have that belief, and obviously. We'll get onto this in a little while with regards to Lambert and how that management style has changed our kind of play. But when you win a game, you kind of fixated on that you've just won it, and that you may spend the whole week looking at the opponent you've just beaten and not realise what you've got coming. So Rotherham, in all aspects, probably one of the poorer sides in the division, and we're sitting bottom of the league. And there's teams that are very much worse than us in this division, and Bolton being one of those. And there's been other teams that have struggled for a long time. yet we find ourselves underneath those teams, and that's purely down to the bad start. And a lot of the players that we brought in have been, you know, recruited to keep us in this division. Well, they weren't recruited to keep us in the division, but to compete.
Yeah.
So now we're down there. We are competing at a level, but we're not winning games. We're not getting points.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact of the matter is, we are going to get relegated. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, you can't see any other result now.
No.
What was it, like 16, 17 games now?
Yeah, exactly.
Still 7 points down.
And you need 11 at least. Well, you don't. Mathematically, you're relying on the teams down there to play worse than they already are.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work for you. And if you're relying on other teams to get you in the division, then there's something obviously wrong. Yeah. So moving on from that, anyway, there's been a lot of talk about how Paul Lambert's management style has, you know, let's go from this for a different angle. We're brought in players, and Lambert has brought these players into the squad, and you know, there's people making a lot of a lot of moans about when players are brought onto the pitch. What players can do and what players can do this, what players can do that. For you, how do you see, you know, Lambert's management style?
I think Lambert's got the best management style we've had since the likes of George Burley, Jim Magilton. I think his actual style of management is better than Roy Keane, better than McCarthy. But I think as a manager, like nowadays, because of how football's changed in the last 20, 30 years, you've got to give the players some form of belief, and I think he's the sort of manager that could do that. But then you've also, this is what I think McCarthy probably did that. Yeah. But then he also had a complete disregard for the fans. Yeah. Very rarely did he say the fans were excellent. Like, you know, Lambert's always saying the fans are excellent. You know, he really gives them incentive to go to games because they know that they'll be appreciated by him and his management team. Yeah. And you know, I mean, I know this is kind of a massive, like, it was a big thing for us at the time, but when he paid for the coach tickets to the Blackburn game, that really sums up what he wants to do. Yeah. And then, like, I mean, one good bit of news in what's been a dismal season for us is the fact that him and Evans have met whilst he's been here, and he said that if we go down, he'll stay. Yeah. Because if he were to leave, we would not get, like, there's no better manager that would come to us. No. Like, you could, you know, turn to, I don't know, like, you know, that Nathan Jones who's just gone to Stoke. Like, don't get me wrong, good manager, but I don't know anything about him. Like, we wouldn't get any manager with any sort of pedigree. And Lambert's got that pedigree. He's managed in the Premier League. He's had loads of Championship spells. He's had a League One spell. Grant, I mean, with Norwich, but he did there and done it. He did amazing things there because he then got them into the Premier League before he left there.
100%.
So like he knows what these like lower leagues, like kind of the rough and tumble football is about, where maybe it's not so much ability but being able to win dirty. Yeah,
exactly. And I think a lot of people are looking into this too much. Results wise, Lambert may have came in at the right point in the season, but he didn't have the players to get him out of that mess. And a lot of you probably didn't realise that in the 10-game spell that Lambert had to improve results, he wouldn't have done it with the squad that he had. But by the time that 10-game run was over, we were effectively out of the run of staying in the division. Now, obviously, we could talk in hindsight and say, look, we could have won games, we could have done this, could have done that. We could talk in hindsight and say, we could avoid the drop in the future, but we can't. In this position, we can't. It would take an absolute miracle. He'd have to be God to keep us out of the relegation.
I don't care what people say. Like, the fact the manager, like I say, if he's got a managerial calibre, but and then he's also got calibre as a player as well. He knows. He's
got the respect.
He only thinks football because he had a great career. He won leagues. He won the Champions League, for God's sake. It's no mean feat. You don't get much bring that. So
how many British players outside of the last decade have you got in management that have won the Champions League?
Exactly. So he knows what good football looks like. He knows what he wants, but he also then puts it across all the right ways. So I've got. As soon as he came in, like everyone's going, "Oh, he's ex-Norwich is going to be a massive problem." There, I think when you look at the football he played, he nearly kept Stoke up.
Yeah.
And they were in a like kind of getting to where West Brom were last season in the Premier League. They were in a really dire position, and like he done a really good job as well. And I think he came to here. I think it was a bit of a suicide mission because I don't think there was.
In my opinion,
the squad he got, there was. Like,
he committed occupational suicide by going to Stoke last season.
Yeah. But he done a damn good job there.
He's done exactly. Probably he's probably doing exactly the same resurrection job that he's doing with Ipswich that he done with Stoke.
Exactly.
Yet they opted to get rid of Lambert in the end. In terms of where it is with us, he's come in and he's establishing networks that could carry this club forward for a decade at least. Now, we've as a club we've neglected that for a long time. And we've probably even skipped a generation of supporters because of the way that we've acted. Mediocrity in the Championship has led us to, an unsustainable financial background. That is going to affect us off the pitch. Whatever happens, whether we stay up or go down, probably if we stayed up, it'd be worse because you've still got to pay the players' wages. Still got to bring in those players with transfer fees, things that we're not committed to doing. Now, we've got an academy. We've got 7 youth products that are in and out of the first team at the moment. That's virtually nearly a first team. They've all got League 2, League 1 experience. If and maybe when we go down, can you see any of the signings that Paul Lambert has brought in or the club have brought in this January actually staying beyond the end of the season?
Yeah, from what I've read, I think James Collins is staying. He said he's got 1 or 2 seasons more in him. He's like obviously he's signed because we need him. Yeah, he's key. Like I know Chambers is the club captain, but James Collins has got that real hardy defensive nous, having been in the Premier League for so long with West Ham, Villa, and then Villa tried to sign him. They would have him now if he hadn't had that hamstring problem.
Yeah, very much. He tore up his own contract.
He tore up his own contract. I know. So that says he's got exactly the right sort of. He's a really good character. Yeah. And I'm really glad that he said he's staying because he's a really good personality to have with the defensive nous. Yeah. And just the experience that he brings. That although however much I like Chambers, he's obviously we called him like Mr. Ipswich Town. He's been called Captain Fantastic. I don't think he's got the same he's been around for years now. Yeah. What is he 34 this year? So he's only a year younger than Collins, but
he's outstayed in this sense. I think we're now on his 4th manager. Yeah, 4th manager. He's
getting
gone
to the
through.
Point. Yeah, is he getting to the point where he's outstayed as well? Can we kind of got?
Yeah,
he's been here a long time now.
He's the only player that's probably not been cast aside in a sense, and we may have to accept that the change that we need when we go down, or if we were to stay up, if the change that we would need is to actually ruffle all the feathers and take everything out and start again and rebuild. And I'm not the one with the answers. I don't know who to bring in. Will certainly doesn't know who we'd bring in. I mean, we can mention.
I wish I did.
A million names.
I think we wish you did. Like I say, we can mention a million names from the Championship. We can say this player's not playing.
Yeah. Sign him up.
You've got the shirt there.
Yeah.
Darryl Murphy.
Yeah.
We were rumoured to get him. He'd have been a great sign. And obviously, everyone at the club loves Darryl Murphy. It was. I could see why he left to Newcastle at the time. Yeah. It was his last chance, really.
It was about time
to get a move in the Premier League. If he wants to play Premier League football, it's his last chance to do that because he won't get another move. What was he, 32, 33?
Exactly.
So I don't blame him, but I personally was heartbroken when he left because he was if you needed a goal in a really hard game like that Villa game yesterday, a hard game that you fought really well and got back into. It's 2-1. You've worked really hard. He's the sort of player that would be in that right position like that.
You could always
that Chalobah header that came off the post. That was him. You could have relied on.
You could always rely on
Darryl Murphy.
And the thing was with Darryl was that we relied on him so much that became he was part of the furniture.
And then Waghorn last year.
And then we finally found replacements in the sense that Garner, Waghorn, McGoldrick had,
McGoldrick when he was staying fit, especially.
All of those three together,
and then they just all went.
Became a Daryl Murphy in a sense because we could rely on them. Now, in the summer, there obviously a turn of events that led to us selling all of our best players and replacing them with inexperienced players. I'm not going to argue that any of those players aren't good enough, because if they were in the team that we had last year and had been gradually brought in, I tell you what, we'd be completely different side.
I'm sure there's players that if they hadn't been brought in with such a rough team, a team that's just not at the not good enough, but not. They haven't had the game time. None of them players. We've got a lot of young players now, and we've got very little experience, like real key experience that know the club like the back of their hand. Especially the first team. Like I said, we've got loads of youth players in and out. But they don't. It's knowing the first team, because everyone says that the main league is very different to an under-23s game. The physicality, the kind of the ability you've got to have. You've got to be able to read the game in a split second.
Yeah.
I don't. It's difficult. Like you say, we don't know who to bring in. There are a million more names you could throw about, but if we would have bought them players in last season, if we'd have bought in Cade, I think Ellis Harrison is good enough for this league. He's bullied defenders before. He makes himself really big. He wins nearly everything in the air, but he just doesn't. He's not quite switched on to this division yet.
No,
which is understandable. Because he's only been in. He hasn't been in. It's his first time in the league. He hasn't been in this season. You can't expect him to come in and score 15 goals a season.
No, not at all. And to be honest, giving Caden Jackson and Ellis Harrison the number 9 and 10 shirts, that's probably more of a burden than it is starting them in the league game. To be fair, both of them, in my opinion, have got a bright future in an Ipswich Town shirt.
Definitely. I would really like to see him kept, because we signed Caden from League 2 at Accrington at the time, but he's rapid. He's a player that you could see doing a job in League 1.
He scored some absolutely quality goals. Let's not forget this.
I mean, that goal against who was it? It was Millwall to make it 3-2. He's got that striking ability.
Absolutely,
he can strike a ball. And Ellis Harrison, I know it was he had a clear chance for that one against Sheffield United. That was a good finish.
Absolutely hell of a goal. Unless if we're talking goals now, Freddie Sears has been the one. And to be fair, since the turn of January, maybe end of December, the turn of January, in the sense that he knew players were coming in. Do you think we've seen a different? We've not actually seen Freddie, have we?
Freddie's gone back to the Freddie of last season, because he started the season. He was looking like that player. He was kind of, he's. I'm not, no disrespect to him, but he was never going to be the Daryl Murphy or the Martin Michael we had. But he was the sort of player that we were going to end up turning to score goals.
Oh yeah. And
then suddenly, kind of just before the January or a month before January window, he's just gone back to
he hit that
silent Freddie of that. Everyone goes, no, he's not good enough. We can't be starting him because he doesn't score anything.
I mean, he hit that purple patch where he scored what was it, 4 goals?
4 goals in 5 games, something like that.
Which is absolutely sublime when you're at the bottom of the league. You actually need that.
Well, that's good for any team. Scoring 4 and 5. Leeds and Norwich would take 4 more.
I mean, look at Leeds. Have got Kmar Roof. Is not naturally even a striker, but he's shown up this season in the first few games. He's actually stabilised himself for the whole year. But the sense of Freddie Sears, I think he's a very much a confidence-driven player, as anyone would be. But in the sense that he's been a bit quiet recently, it's not helped, because he was our in-form player at that point in time, especially during that first 10 games of Lambert's reign. Obviously, we've just seen an absolutely hell of a strike from Freddie Sears.
Yeah, the 25 against Villa
Yesterday.
Shows what he can do when he has a bit behind him.
Everyone, even Freddie, will know that he will never score a goal like that ever again in his career. I don't think he has done previously.
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have put from a shot from there. I would have said he's insane.
No,
from what he does, he hasn't scored. Most of the goals he's scored have been from inside the box or tap-ins. Don't get goals are goals. They all count. I don't care how they come. Everyone says, you get Premier League teams.
Yeah.
They win 1-0, but they're not happy because they scored a really scrappy goal that someone fell onto. But it's
But do we see Freddie Sears as a striker anymore then, or do we see him as a winger? Because when we play him up front, he seems to be playing out of position. Yeah. And left wing seems to be his natural position now. And maybe we could thank McCarthy for that, but I don't think he'd be thanking McCarthy for putting him out left wing.
I think he's more naturally suited, regardless of the fact I think he is a striker. I think his playing style, it's really weird. I think he's a striker, but he's more suited to the wing because he's I don't know, his fitness levels are just insane.
Yeah,
he doesn't stop running.
No.
And I think with how football's played now with fullbacks that like to push up so much, I mean, obviously, what's going on with Knudsen, we don't know, but when Knudsen used to look, when Knudsen played, which doesn't look like he's going to get any more game time, he hardly ever defended. Like, he was a very attacking fullback. And I think Sears done him massive favours at times with his willingness to track back. I think if you'd have had, I don't know, someone like, don't get wrong, like Lancaster, I think he's a better player than Freddie for his attacking quality, but I don't think someone like Lancaster, when he's at Sears' age, will be.
No.
Like, he's an attacker, but I don't think he'll have the willingness to defend like Sears did. So I think Freddie is key to the team in a different way than people expect him to be, because people see him as an attacker and people want him to score goals. I don't think, although his natural position is striker and that's where he'll want to play, having started there before McCarthy, when we got McGoldrick, Murphy and all that in full, we moved him out to the left. I think he'll want to play a striker, but I think he's more useful to the team on the left with just his willingness to run. Yeah,
100%. So we've got a busy 2 weeks coming up now. Firstly, we've got Sheffield Wednesday at home, followed by who have we got? We've got Norwich on the Sunday.
Norwich on the Sunday the 10th.
I didn't forget that. And then we've got obviously Derby on the Wednesday night.
That's a tough game.
And then who is that afterwards? It's Stoke at home. So
yes,
we've got Derby, Stoke and Norwich, as well as Sheffield Wednesday, who were 3-0 down earlier to Chelsea. I don't know what the final score was.
It was 3-0.
Alright, cool. So we've got Sheffield Wednesday this week to start. It's just about getting some confidence back in the side. In terms of winning a game, every game's a must win, in some way, shape or form, but not for us. Come on, let's be realistic. We're past the side.
I know. I like what Lambert says though. I think Lambert's got it nailed with the must-win theory. Like,
with the sense that he's saying we've still got these points to play for.
He says every game's a must-win, which it sort of is, because as soon as you lose a game, you lose pace on the teams above you. Like, when we were in the playoffs, when we were in that playoff season 14-15, I think it was, like, we finished 6th. We had to cling on to that playoffs because at the end of the season, or points in that season, we weren't
good enough.
We kept losing pace, and that's what Lambert says, So I think, I wouldn't have said this until I heard Lambert say it, but I think he's got it nailed with the must-win theory, because now I listen to him, it's a load of garbage, really. Every game's a must-win. You have to win to get what you want.
Yeah, and he's saying you've got 50-something points to play for, you've got this many points. Yeah, you're right. You have. Try and get as many points on the board, because let's be honest, if we go down with this embarrassing total that we've got at the moment,
18,
it would be the worst.
The worst in the league's history.
In league's history, and let's just say since it was brought to a head in 04-05.
That's not a record you want to have. Even if we do go down, I think a lot of us want to stay up. I think a lot of us accepted we're probably not going to stay up. Now I think it would be probably the worst season in the club's history if we go down with the worst points record in the league. Like, that would just, in a weird way, you say it's a positive note, it would be the icing on the cake of what has been just a horrible season.
And to be honest, it's been coming. And if you hadn't seen that for a long time, you've potentially been blind to what's been going on at Ipswich Town.
I was talking to someone about this the other day. It's like, ever since Evans has come over and bought the club out from administration, he's a businessman at the end of the day, isn't he? And he sees Ipswich Town as an opportunity to spread his business. That's why last season, however long he was here until we got this horrible Magical Vegas sponsor, you know, Marcus Evans plastered across the show. Every half time, you know, every other advert at half time is Marcus Evans, whatever, behind the business.
Yeah. 10 years of playing in that shirt.
But he's, apart from Roy Keane, where he spent 10 million, ever since then he's never put any money into the club. And how you, I'm no businessman, but in my head it makes sense that you put money into a club for 2-3 seasons. And you might have to wait, you know, 4 or 5 years until that starts to prosper. Players bed themselves in. They start to, you know, learn. Because a lot of people say the Championship, to actually get out of, like, there's no easy game in that league. Whether you're playing, you know, Norwich against us, you know, they can't take that as an easy game. Because we're competitive. We just don't finish games off. If we have the lead, we don't fight back if we're losing. But we're still competitive. That won't be an easy game. Or Leeds, you know.
No.
Top of the league. That was, you know, we were in that game.
Yeah.
No, I've gone off topic with that because you got to put the investment in. You let players bed in.
Yeah.
And then you reap the rewards. Yeah. You know, 4 or 5 years down the line, even if you don't get that promotion straight away that everyone wants.
Let's just argue the fact that his selfishness in 14-15. We bought in Freddie Sears in January 15, and we could have done with one more midfielder and probably even a defender to help us out, a winger as well. We needed that season. Alan Judge, ironically, was linked that season.
He's been linked. This is the 3rd time he's been linked.
And if we had bought in Alan Judge at that point, you know, sky's the limit. We probably might have even given Norwich a game in the second leg of the playoffs semi-finals, but
wasn't to be.
Exactly. And because we had players like Murphy and Sears, you know, scoring goals, you ignore everything else on the pitch, and that's the sad fact about football. Now we haven't got the goals. You can see the areas that we need strengthening.
You can see.
Even now, after we brought players in January, we still need strengthening. Those players aren't good enough to keep us in the division. Obviously, we know that. But are they the kind of players that we want to take down with us? Now, for me, that no is the answer. You know, if we're going to go down, we need to start. And I haven't spoken to Paul Lambert. He's said specifically that the only reason he got Norwich promoted is because he had Championship players. Now, if we were to go down, the dynamic would be that we'd lose all Championship players and we'd have to go with youngsters and acquire some extra help from elsewhere.
Back to loan deals.
We need to just do this properly.
Yeah.
We need to bring in players that have got a promising future. Doesn't matter whether they're tested at whatever level. Look at Pompey, for God's sake, this season. We've brought in a player from the League of Ireland and non-league, and they're both in double figures for goals this season.
Yeah, wow.
Do you know what I mean? It's you've got to do your recruitment in the right areas, and unfortunately, we don't know. We don't know what that is anyway. But in terms of Sheffield Wednesday, mate, you know, bringing it back to Portman Road.
Yeah.
You know, we can see a win again, can't we? I think you could say we'll all go down there and we'll be hoping for a win again.
Yeah, well, we've got to, you know. That's what you do. That's what you do as a supporter, isn't it? You go and you hope your team wins. You back, you know, you're meant to back your team all the way. And they're like, I don't want to be abused, like have a go at other Ipswich fans. But the last thing that the club needs now is fans that are now calling, you know.
Yeah, negativity.
At the time for calling Hurst's head, I think there was justification because you know there's no way that what him and Doig did to the club, selling Waghorn, Garner, McGoldrick, Webster, whoever else, like there's no way that can't. I'm not saying all of it on their back.
No,
because
I'd agree in some senses.
We all know what Evans is like. He loves his money.
Yeah.
And he probably saw that as an opportunity. They've just Waghorn's had the best season of his life in the best league he's played in, and you know there's opportunity there for him to rake in cash and give little back to get signings that he wants to, you know, do the same job.
The thing is, when we had a £5 million offer for Waghorn come in, we bought the bloke for £250,000. So in terms of a sell-on figure, we've just made near enough 20 times more than what he was actually worth.
The club finds itself £100 million in debt.
Exactly. And the horrible thing is that we've not actually invested that into players like Waghorn. We've not gone out and seen that we've got potential there. We could bring that player in and actually sell him on for a higher figure. The same with Garner. We brought in both of those players. They're both cast aside by a managerial regime that obviously didn't work at Rangers.
Yeah.
And we benefited hugely from that. Now look at us, we've been held to ransom by a club like Accrington Stanley for 2 players that have hardly featured this season.
And one of them's now gone back.
Exactly, and...
I'm not... I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Janoy Danassian deal, what was that?
There's something back alley
I
about
don't
that.
know what that was.
No.
Who like, you know, Caden Jackson, granted he had no reputation for the Championship at all.
No.
But his name would have been about a little bit because of the season he had in League Two.
Exactly.
But who's heard of Janoy Danassian, a left back that from St Lucia or something like that? You know, like
no.
And then we signed him. We only about 2 weeks before we loaned him back. We could have said no, we don't want. We could have, because he was technically only a loan deal. Granted, we submitted for his work permit.
Mm-hmm. We could have pulled the plug.
We could have pulled the plug on that because Lambert, although he said he's a centre half, clearly he is not going to get any game time because he is stuck until we signed Collins. He'd stuck religiously with Chambers and Pennington, and Spence and Knudsen, which, you know, I think everyone would agree no Ipswich fan is going to be the biggest Spence and Knudsen fans in the last couple of years.
I think the only benefit of this season is that Spence and Knudsen have actually been cast aside.
I think that is, and we've got Lambert in now. I think the fact that Lambert is said he's here to stay, at least into next season. Yeah. You know, and he said he sees I saw an East Anglia Daily Times article and he said he's had enough of staying at clubs for a season. Yeah. He sees something. He wants to build something here. Like he wants to hang about in his current mindset. And we've got as in the position the club's in at the moment, like, that's got to be something we've got to cling on to because there's nothing else to cling on to now.
No,
really.
you're right. I've said this a number of times, at the depths of despair at the moment, and like you said, completely agree. This is the worst season in the club's history to date, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think I can't.
We can't, but no season in this club's history will be.
I can't imagine you scrolled through every single record of Town seasons, but there's as quite loyal fans, you generally hear, like, it comes up in conversation, oh, this is like
in a generation,
the 1952 season or something like that. You hear about it, like, you know, when you do really well and really bad, you know, it's like reminiscent of that, but there's no mention of like, oh, this is like that season when we just were absolute rubbish.
You could look at the older generation and say that in that whole time that person's been alive, not once has Ipswich Town stepped below the second division.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This is the first time we go below the second in, I think, on radio stuff. And it'll be like 54 years, 50 something years.
Yeah, and you know, sad, but you know, we've got to realise that, and we've got to go forward. So, look, Sheffield Wednesday is the next big one. Will obviously be there, will you?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, always, and on there. So, look out for the next Matchday vlog. Don't forget to subscribe, obviously, and you know, let's just hope that we can just resurrect our season by winning the game.
To just enjoy a bit for like the half an hour.
Just to get us over the line, you know. One thing. Yep. End of the season, we've just been relegated. Mm-hmm. Will we be the club that has fans crying in the stands? Or is this something that we've been aware of for a long time?
I think we probably will, but I think that'll be the people that are clinging on to hope too much. I think realistically, I think I think especially over the last couple of weeks with, I think Blackburn. Yeah. Like everyone's been saying it, you know, we've been saying it for weeks. Oh, we're done. You know, we're doomed.
That was the nail in the coffin.
I think Blackburn to lose 2-0 to a side that's only just come up. They came up last season, didn't they? Yeah,
they did. Yeah. And
to lose 2-0 to them is like
been doing really well.
Don't get me wrong, they're good. They're a championship team, you know. They're too good for that league. There's no denying that. And they've got, you know, Bradley Dack, who people say is like, you know, like apparently there's Premier League clubs that are looking at him, you know, for future. I think we probably will, like a few, but I think more people now after that game, after struggling so much in the Rotherham game, like that second half was so poor. That was probably the worst football I've seen under Lambert. Yeah, we got the win from it. That was a weird game, but yeah, when we play well, we can't get a win. So, but I think now we've been at the bottom. We've been at the bottom over 2.5 months now, rock bottom. No sign of coming off it.
No.
I'd like to think enough people have accepted the fact that, you know, we're done now. Okay. I think we just need to we've got to try and as best we can kind of graciously say our goodbyes for hopefully just one season, hopefully.
Goodbye, see you soon.
Goodbye, see you soon, hopefully we come straight back up.
That'd
if
be nice,
things work out well, but you never know. With
little trophy tour around the town centre, that'd be nice.
I mean, you know, like I was saying, you know, clubs have done it. Look at Lambert at Norwich, you know. He took them when they're in absolute state. Down it, and then got relegated to League One, and now he took them League One Championship into the Premier League. You know, so it's doable. Granted, not many clubs do it. Like I remember you did a video on it a while ago. Like not many clubs do it.
No,
but that doesn't mean it's impossible. And we are a club that has got good foundations. I don't like. However much we all hate our owner. We are a club that's got good foundations. There's no denying that. And this is a club that can go places, and we shouldn't. I'm not trying to sound big-headed about club. We shouldn't be in this position. We are. You know, you got smaller clubs like Rotherham, Bolton. You know, that I think, no disrespect to them, they're not regarded in the same calibre as I think our club is. You know, we're far from a high calibre club nowadays. No. But we're not this low to have this poor a season in the second division. I think something's gone wrong somewhere. And it's just ended up coming back to bite us. But you know, as football for you, something's got to go wrong eventually. You know, we've been top 2 for, you know, over 50 years now. So you know, there was always going to be a time when it.
This time's been coming. You know, and I hate to say it, but I've seen this come for a long time.
Well, the lack of investment just tells you, doesn't it? You know, the lack of willingness.
We can't compete in this division now. No. That doesn't mean we can't in the future.
That doesn't mean that we can't come back up. You know, whether it's under the same ownership, different. I hope it's not a different management team, but if it is under a different management team, if the right people come along, you know. But I'd be happy to see Lambert stay for however long, just because of the character he is and what he brings to the fans. You know, for a club that's had fans that have just been neglected for so long. Yeah, definitely. I'd 100% agree with that. Will, cheers for that, mate. Thank you.
And then until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe again. You know, because Will, who said that 3 minutes ago, but if you haven't done it, do it now. More to come. I'll be at the next 4 games. So Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich, Derby, and to finish off Stoke at home. I don't know what happens after that because I only look 2 weeks ahead. But until then,
probably lose.
Until then, after we've got 12 points from the next 4 games.
That'll be.
And we'll be
best run
be staying up.
since the playoff season.
You know, come on, you Blues.